episode 1001. Holy cow, and it's a relevant podcast. Here in Orlando, I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me still from Loverland, Virginia, Jesse Carey.
Hello.
We made it into the new millennium. We are now entering a new... Yeah.
Quite the feat. Quite the feat.
From Austin, Texas, author, speaker, podcaster, Jamie Ivey.
Hey, guys.
And from Nashville, Tennessee, artist, producer, and mogul, Derek Miner.
What's happening?
Man, this is crazy. We've been podcasting a long time. I'm sorry. Did you guys listen to the 1000th episode? It was like so nostalgic. Jesse, when we were putting that together, dude, like I just couldn't wrap my head around how many absolutely ridiculous things we've talked about over the years. I don't know if you stuck it out, but at the end of the show, we put about 15 minutes of those random outros.
Yeah.
We were pulling them. From the last 10 years. And when it crossed 50 minutes, we were like, okay, we got to cut this down. This is ridiculous.
I got to be honest. I listened to it and I was like, how do I not know or remember at probably 95% of these references?
I know, me too. That was my recollection as well. It's like, I have no idea where that clip came from. You know what I mean? Like, I was here with you. And like, yeah, it was crazy.
I loved
time,
it.
Though.
Congrats.
It's a huge accomplishment, y'all. Man, like this is a staple in faith-based journalism. Like, you know what I mean? Like just knowing that, like, it's a staple. So I'm honored to be a part of it and glad, you know what I'm saying, I've got a chance to be a part of history because that's what this is. So
I'm not going to lie. It's lasted about 975 more episodes than I thought it would after we recorded our first one.
Well, you came on episode 10. That's when we figured out what we wanted this to eventually become. But you're right. This lasted about 20 years longer than I thought it would. Well, hopefully we don't ruin the next 1,000.
That feels exhausting.
I'm not
oh my gosh.
I'm not going to lie. I finally feel like we warmed up. And now it's game time.
Jesse, at episode 2000, we are going to be well into our 50s. Like, I don't know that we're going to be doing it in another 1,000.
Oh
yeah, another 17 years. We'll see.
No, thank you. That's a little much.
But that's what I would have said 17 years ago. I don't even know if the internet's going to be a thing anymore.
That's true. That's true. Oh, man.
Well,
we're kicking off the next era in strong. Our guests today are Sterling K. Brown and Regina Hall.
What?
You know,
it's killer.
We're bringing it. We're coming with the heat.
Wow.
They have a new movie out called Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. It's in theaters now. It's also streaming on Peacock if you're like me and you prefer to sit at home alone and watch your movies. It's out. We're talking to them later about that. Also, you know the He Gets Us campaign that's been kind of everywhere. If you watch sports, it's like rolling out big this fall again. We've been talking about, they've been sponsoring this podcast. People have been asking us who's behind this. Like, is this the Mormons? Like, who is this like Jesus commercial thing? So we have the guy behind He Gets Us going to join us, tell you a little bit about what they're up to, what they're trying to do. Jason's going to join us today. So don't want to miss that either. And at the end of the show, we have a special feedback where you guys are asking us questions. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Moving the show along. Stay tuned. Up next, Tyler will join us for Relevant Buzz.
Quite surprising. Roll with me. Let's roll. Could you come tonight? I'm counting from the thunder. Could you come tonight? I got a feeling that you know the number.
You're listening to Phoenix and Ezra Koenig. The song is Tonight. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tim Tebow's book, Look Again. Have you ever wondered what would change if you truly believed you were infinitely valuable to God? In his New York Times bestselling book, Look Again, Tim Tebow reveals the powerful truth that when we learn to see the image of God in every person, including those we struggle to love, everything changes. Tebow shares incredible stories from his work with people the world often overlooks, and it will challenge you to stand up to the lies, rediscover the worth that everyone has, and impact the world for good. Find Look Again by Tim Tebow, available now wherever books are sold.
Relevant Buzz.
Well, please welcome to the show, Tyler Huckabee, live from Paris, France. Hey, Tyler, what's going on this week? You're looking a little Jesus-y today.
Bonjour, everyone. Somebody said that. So I don't know what it is. I don't think the vibe has changed that much.
See, I think it's more John Foreman.
He's giving strong John Foreman hair. That is exactly what it is.
I've heard Foreman vibes before. John, if you're out there, thank you for inspiring my latest vibe shift.
But I think it's not just the hair. I think it's the beard that's coming in that's giving it the Jesus shift.
The surfer vibe. Yeah. The hair's been growing out for a little bit. As I think I may have mentioned on this podcast, in France, if you go to get your hair cut, evidently, I haven't experienced this myself, but evidently you don't really, like, they take the haircut you want into consideration, but they have the final say. Like, you are kind of there.
They tell you what you want.
You are kind of there as a consultant, but you do not have any like executive authority over the actual.
See, I feel like that's a great system. Takes a lot of pressure off. A lot of pressure. I would just close my eyes. I would just be like, when I wake up, I want to be pleased and surprised. That's your instructions. I would like waiters to do the same thing.
Just bring me whatever.
No, Jesse.
I actually have done that at restaurants. Like, we're not going to order. Just bring me the best. Like, you just feed us and bring us the best.
100%. That's
some of the best experiences. Yep. Yeah,
that's how I do it. I'm like, what do you recommend? Then that's it. Always. If I'm in a new restaurant.
So I'm the guy that asks, what do you recommend? And then I just get what I want.
That's why I don't ask for recommendations, because I feel like, she's like, it's the best thing on the menu. I love it. Trust me. And I'm like, not really in a shepherd's pie mood. So
yeah, that's me.
It just sets the whole vibe.
They recommend the one thing on the menu that I was definitely not feeling.
That you definitely didn't want. Yeah,
that seems like it's always the case when I ask for recommendation.
Well, why don't you hone it?
I'm not a closed-minded. I'm not a picky eater. There's always that one thing you're like, I don't really do that. I don't do that very often.
You could lead them. You can be like, I'm in the mood for something light. And then what do you recommend?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
I need to do that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
what's going on? What's going on this week?
Yeah. So the first thing up that I want to talk about, and this is just sort of an interesting case that is probably going to become something that's a little more common in the future, that honestly I wanted one of your thoughts on. So for the little bit of background knowledge, how many of you guys, this was in the height of the pandemic, fell down the Queen's Gambit hole on Netflix?
I watched that.
Anya Taylor-Joy. It was like a very big deal. It was like kind of our first big pandemic show that everybody was like, we're all stuck inside. We're all watching the chess show.
No. The first big one was Tiger King.
First one. That's incorrect.
I got to be honest. Second. I don't do board game content. Board game content is not.
Oh my god.
Chess, checkers, all the way up to Monopoly. I don't do it. It's just
I'm surprised it hasn't sparked more, like a domino show, a checkers show, a Monopoly tournament. Yeah,
I'd watch a Monopoly tournament for sure.
It'd take you forever to watch it.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
I
got time.
Yeah, one Monopoly tournament is one Monopoly game is that you could watch the entire Queen's Grand series. Yeah, exactly.
Not that guy. Well, and for those who are not in the know, Queen's Gambit followed a woman chess player in the 60s who was like a brilliant chess player, and sort of her rise from living in an orphanage to moving out on her own to eventually becoming a grandmaster of chess. Now it's a fictional story. It kind of had the look and feel of one of those based on a true story things. It was not. It was completely made up. But they did reference in one episode offhand a woman whose name I'm going to kind of butcher here, but it's Nona Gaprindashvili. Nona. for short. Nona Gashvindili, who was a real chess grandmaster who was alive and was playing around the same time as Anya Taylor-Joy's character in this show. Now, the way they referenced her in this show was as a way to sort of beef up the character's own stats. Character said about Nona, the only unusual thing about Anya Taylor-Joy's character really is her sex, and even that's not unique in Russia. There's Nona Gaprindashvili, but she's the female world champion and has never faced men, is what they said. Now, that is not true. The real Nona actually did face men. In fact, at the time that this series was set, she had faced, according to her lawyer, 59 men, 10 of whom were chess grandmasters at the time, and had won a majority of those game matches.
You just said, according to her lawyer. Why is there a lawyer involved?
I'm lost. I'm trying to figure it out.
That's where we need to get involved, because she's saying this is a defamation of her actual achievements. She's
in a fictional show?
Exactly, in a fictional show. So this is where things get a little bit complicated. She says that there's not enough people who knew that the reference to her achievement was also fictional to warrant the show being kind of like passed off as this is just a parallel reality, not part of the real thing, right? To quote the actual lawyer, quote, Netflix brazenly and deliberately lied about Gaprindashvili's achievements for the cheap and cynical purpose of heightening the drama by making it appear that its fictional hero had managed to do what no other woman, including Gaprindashvili, had done. Thus, in a story that was supposed to inspire women by showing a young woman competing with men at the highest levels of world chess, Netflix humiliated the one real woman trailblazer who had actually faced and defeated men on the world stage in the same era.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So what this is saying is Netflix made a show about a woman who was playing chess and became a master and beat all these men. And then a random person in Russia said, oh, that sounds like my story, but they did it all wrong, so I'm going to sue them.
But they used her real name.
They mentioned her,
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I missed that part. That makes the big deal.
So they basically said, what if there was another woman at that time who was basically doing what she did.
What she actually did. Wow.
But she was better than, but her achievements were like more remarkable because in this parallel fictional chess world that they're creating, Nona Gashvindili had not done the same things. And she is still, I know I'm butchering her name. She is still with us, and that's why we're having this lawsuit right now.
Hey, Nona, get your money. That's all I'm saying. Hey, look, I ain't even mad.
Like
Nona, get your money. I don't care. Look, I don't care if she right or wrong. Get your money, man. Like, it is what it is. That's what they get for speaking your name. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let them know. And the chess world is gangster like that. You gotta let them know.
I'll be honest with you. I thought it was a true story. I didn't know until this moment.
I did too, actually.
It feels like one. And that's part of sort of the case that even the judge agreed. That's why the judge agreed to listen to it in this case, because obviously, fictional account, Hitler died in Inglourious Bastards, right? He gets killed by the woman in that movie. That didn't happen in real life, but everybody kind of knows that didn't really happen. That's a fictional story. We can let that one slide. Or
Hitler's not going to sue anybody. I mean,
the Hitler defenders aren't going to come out of the woodwork for that one.
Are pretty well established in that case.
You know what I mean? That's maybe not the best example, but you know what I'm talking about. In this case, the judge agreed that the show had not made it clear that this particular detail was fictional. So while viewers of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood can be expected to figure out the show's depiction of the Manson murders isn't real, Netflix had enough reckless disregard for the truth in this case to warrant the lawsuit moving forward.
Wow.
The lawsuit did move forward, and it actually, Netflix actually ended up settling with the estate instead of it going all the way. So they kind of took the L on that.
What'd they settle for?
Doesn't undisclosed.
Undisclosed.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
I would think so.
Netflix money.
It sounds like Netflix they thought that she kind of had him over a barrel on this one, but it's such an interesting, no black and white. It's hard to know what kind of real events can you mention in a fictional TV show? And it seems like I think she had a good case here. I do. It's because it seems kind of fuzzy.
Tyler, I know you're working on a novel, so you need to learn from this and be careful to not reference anything real in your fictional.
I've had to go back and make some pretty substantive pretty substantial rewrites.
Yeah.
And I want to give an advance apology to Beth Moore. This is what happens in the novel is not reflective of my actual feelings about you.
Don't mention Auntie Beth. She been through enough.
Wait, are you actually writing a novel? First question.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I am.
Yes,
I am.
that's awesome. That's really cool, and it's all about Beth Moore's life.
It's a
I
Word
take
document.
it. There you
Well,
go.
the
Got
Beth
it.
Moore part.
He spells it differently.
I've said too
He
much.
spells it differently.
I've said too much. The more lawyer legal team is already going to be on my case about this.
Leave Auntie alone. She been through enough. She got enough people in her DMs. Leave Auntie alone.
I am not. Beth, John, I thank you for inspiring my vibe. Beth, you are not actually mentioned in a novel that may or may not ever actually see it.
That's funny. All right, what else you got?
All right, so this is this was an interesting study, and this was another one. We've done a couple of these studies lately, but there's a result that I would not have expected from this, which is why I wanted to bring it to you all's attention. This is a new study that comes from the folks at the Church of England. So again, British study. This is happening in the UK. They're going through it right now over there, and I don't know how the death of Her Majesty has factored into all of this, but this is a study from the UK, right?
Did you see the clip though going around on TikTok and Instagram about King Charles losing his mind about a pen that wasn't working when he was trying?
He seems like the most unchill dude ever.
I know, right? That dude is tightly wound. Yeah.
He needs to relax a little bit.
It's a pen. Just give me another pen, somebody. It's fine.
He's under a lot of pressure, though. Like, he's under a lot
what pressure?
of pressure.
What does he have to do? Nothing.
Listen,
he inherited
man.
a $33 billion estate when he became king, and he's got no job.
Give me that kind of pressure.
There's a lot more pressure other places. Yeah.
I want to be under the gun like that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stress I could cope with.
Prince, King, whatever. I will take over. If I'm not saying I don't get frazzled. I'm just saying fountain pens do not stress me out.
Hey, this is a tangent, but I read this week. I have no interest in the royal family or anything like that, but the financial component caught my eye this week. Mm-hmm. So literally, he did inherit a $33 billion real estate portfolio. Okay. Jeez. So apparently what happens is all the castles and whatever are owned by the royal family, but they also own things like the high street in London where all the main shops are. They own something like 40% of the seaside. So all the development on the coast, they own the property. They rent out. They'll own like big buildings that then they'll rent and get rental income. So apparently this $33 billion real estate portfolio, the revenue that it generates is what pays for the royal family and all the, servants and pageantry and all that kind of stuff. And so he literally owns it now. I mean, it's like owned by a trust, but it's the royal family's. And then his son inherited his portfolio, which is like, now you own all these castles and you can do with them what you want. They can sell them. They can flip them, whatever.
But
so it's like,
don't they own them because... I mean, ultimately, doesn't it come back to the British people? It's like...
Yeah. I mean, they own the property that then British people have buildings and businesses on top of, or they'll own the building and then they pay rent to the royal family. I mean, so it's like, but it's been going on for 1,000 years. So it's like...
Big scam.
But isn't that crazy? Like, I didn't know that's how it was funded.
Crazy.
I thought it was like taxpayers. No, they are
I've always thought that too.
Yeah, no, it's like they generate revenue by being landlords. And if they wanted to sell Buckingham Palace, they could.
Yo, that's a lot.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Buckingham Palace went up for sale right now?
I read a thing that he's looking at the portfolio with fresh eyes. Like, is there any properties that we want to divest of to fund stuff? It's just so fascinating to me. Anyway,
hey, let's go in and try to buy Buckingham Palace if it goes on sale.
Let's cobble together.
Yeah.
Let's go fund me this thing. Yeah,
let's go fund me. Let's make it the new relevant studio.
Turn into a little Airbnb stitch.
Maybe that's why he's so stressed out about pens, because he has to sign a lot of closing paperwork and all that kind of stuff. So he needs a good pen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Anyway, the study doesn't really have anything to do with the royal family, but it does have to do with the beat of this podcast. So the study found that among people in the UK, 55 and up, age 55 and up, 41% of them have prayed at some point in the last month. Among 18 to 34-year-olds, 56% had prayed in the last month or so. So that is a pretty sharp and surprising metric that I don't think anybody in England expected. You certainly wouldn't expect to see that over here, although I couldn't find any data, any comparable U.S. data to actually look at that. But it is something that surprised, and this is the Reverend Stephen Hance over there, who is the national lead for evangelism and witness for the Church of England. He said, and I thought this was very true, he said, quote, in fact, this shows us more than simply being interested in spirituality. Young people are already exploring it in practice to a greater extent than their elders. In an age when mindfulness and meditation are more popular than ever, prayer makes sense to people. And with pressures mounting and people of every generation facing huge uncertainty, many people of all ages are drawing strength from God in prayer. And I think that's a very interesting way to think about this. I think that prayer is sort of becoming part of that grab bag, mindfulness, meditation, these other practices that people consider to be spiritual. I think prayer falls into that, and I think it is growing more common. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Did they say who they were praying to?
No. Did not.
I just asked recently because I just saw something when the Queen died, and it was on the Daily, and they were interviewing someone.
Wasn't that the weirdest clip ever, Jamie?
Right, and it was this man saying, "I don't believe in God, but I pray to the Queen every day." And I was like, "Yeah,
Relax.
you heard it, Jesse?"
Whoa.
I did, and the most disturbing thing was that somehow he had not yet heard that the Queen had died.
Yes,
Like,
he was very, very startled.
It was like a man on the street thing, and if I had to re-listen to that portion of the Daily because I was like, this is the most bizarre piece of audio I've ever heard. It's like a New York Times reporter on the streets of London walking up to people, asking their thoughts about the death of the Queen. And they walk, apparently just a guy at random who happens to be so devoted to the Queen that he literally prays to her. And he didn't explain the logic. Like, does he think she hears? Like, does she think?
Yeah.
And then somehow, even though he's praying to her every morning, is the last person on earth to find out that she's dead, and was absolutely dumbfounded and devastated.
And he was devastated.
Confusing.
It was hard to hear a little bit. Yeah.
So
That's also an interesting question that I think is important in the study too.
It is interesting.
I think that we have to leave the Christian nationalists alone in America, because I don't know if they praying to the president or like it's crazy. That's a different
White
level
Jesus,
of right. That's a different level of praying to the Queen. That's crazy. Like, I thought that what we had was, see, you think that you got it bad. And then you see somebody else's situation. You're like, you know what? It ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. I mean, it's bad, but it ain't that bad. Like, I'm like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, I just didn't understand the logic. How's this whole... Anyway.
Why
does
would
he think
you do
that
that?
she's hearing him like somehow in her sleep?
He said he just loved her so much.
Nah, bro.
That's so bizarre. But,
so was he
let's
joking? Was he
just
joking or was he dead serious? Like, was he joking?
No, he was dead serious. He was dead serious.
Because sometimes you could be like, people are like, LeBron James is my God. You know what I'm saying? Was it like that? Like, Steph Curry is the basketball god? Or is it like, nah, I'm really literally praying to her every morning before I go to work?
That's what he says.
That's what it was like, yeah.
and the crazy thing
Hey,
is,
man,
this was,
y'all send me that. Don't send me that clip. I was going to say
this was hours after her death. And it was like, how did I don't even know, I know almost nothing about the Queen. How did I know for hours that she had died? And a dude in London who prays to her every morning has to have the news broken to him by a New York Times reporter just wandering around. It was...
I think we can assume, based on the study in the Church of England, that when they ask the question, "Do you pray?" or whatever, that it's praying to God.
I could not find the actual question asked, and it doesn't specify in the actual write up of the report. But I think generally, I think most people, when they hear the word prayer, would not include the Queen among
for sure. But I was thinking of Muslim
but it could mean
something like that.
It could mean that prayer can mean, obviously there's different
I'm
definitions.
not assuming nothing, because up until today, I had no clue that people pray to the Queen. So for all I know,
we can't let that go.
This man does. We don't know if people do. This man does.
It got to be more than one. It got to be.
Jesse, you said that you didn't know, not a lot about the the monarch and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until, and this kind of is with your study, Tyler, just a little bit, but I didn't realize until just after the Queen's passing, seeing so many people talk about how she was a devout Christian. And I mean, I know there's the Church of England and all the things. I just didn't know that about her. And it was very interesting to see.
Is it still that the ruler of England is the head of the Church of England, or did they separate that? I remember at one point, the king was the head of the Church of England.
That is no longer the case.
That's not the case.
No longer the case.
I think it was because that one king that wanted to get divorced, like King Henry or something. So he had to separate the church off of it because he couldn't get divorced. Yeah.
Probably for the best, all things considered.
Probably for the best, yeah.
Sad for the marriage, but...
So the study is that younger generation millennials are praying more than boomers.
Are praying more than the older generation was, which is surprising.
That is, considering the secularization and the, deconstruction.
I wonder too just how much it has to do with the state of the world. Like things just feel a little bit more desperate these days, and young people know they have their whole life ahead of them. And I don't know. I mean, Tyler, to your point, maybe it is like mindfulness and meditation are kind of having a moment. I'd be interested. It's probably a amalgamation of reasons, but
we do know statistically that uncertainty will lead to a greater set to people doing more spiritual practices. That's something that scientifically they have been able to show. Obviously, young people are feeling the brunt of things like financial uncertainty and the economy. We know that young people are definitely more concerned on an existential level about things like climate change, makes them feel very uncertain about the future. So I could see that leading to a lot more spiritual practices, prayer probably among them, but not necessarily the only spiritual practice that's going to be seeing a boost. But I think that that's also just leading to a lot of spiritual questions and spiritual seeking. And I think that we can also trust that God is faithful to when people seek, they will find.
All right, church leaders, you got an opening. Go for it.
Yeah.
All right. What else you got, Tyler?
Market this Queen prayer thing. Seems hot right now.
Last thing I wanted to note really briefly, and this is a story that's been unfolding over a couple of weeks, but did want to draw attention to it, and we're going back to America for this one. I want to talk about the case of Michael Jennings. Michael is a pastor in Childersburg, Alabama. He is black. When his neighbors went out of town, they asked him to water their plants for him while he was there. Which is a responsibility that he took on while he was watering their plants. The other neighbors there called the police. There was a black man. He was black while watering, and the police showed up, and he ended up getting arrested for this and put to jail. Now, the case was thrown out a couple of days later, and by the then police chief. But now Michael Jennings is suing the city and the police department for what he says was a loss of his constitutional rights, emotional distress, and PTSD. He said, quote, "What they did that day was impunity. Thinking there would be no action taken against them. I felt dehumanized. I felt little. I felt helpless. And it hurt me." So that case is now going on to court. Yeah, exactly. I think this is the sort of thing that you need. We need to see account. These stories are always sad when they pop up, but it's so rare to see any actual accountability come through. So hopefully a lawsuit like this for an undisclosed amount of money, we can start seeing some people actually, the actual actions being taken here.
That video was just horrible to watch.
It's terrible.
I mean, it's terrible.
Just escalated at every turn. But he was, he didn't do anything. It's infuriating.
Well,
and there's obviously a lot of stories like this.
But good for him, not just, personally, maybe, will be compensated for this, just awful incident. But to your point, Tyler, maybe it's a deterrent for future interactions like this,
Derek, do you think that'll be a deterrent?
Hell no.
I mean,
I saw your face. I knew what you were thinking.
I was like, y'all a lot more hopeful than me. I don't want to be negative Nancy, but come on, man. Like, the thing that's crazy to me is that he's the next door neighbor. The neighbors go out of town. Let me water their flowers for them. And the other neighbors called the cops. Like, he's your neighbor. He lives there. Like, what are you doing? It makes no sense to me.
But then they even asked the other woman on the video, and she's like, "Oh yeah, he's the neighbor. Like, he's probably watering their plants." And then they still continued. I mean,
crazy.
Oh, man. I don't know.
Sorry.
Crazy. All right. Yeah. Well, there's a lot more where that came from. More fun stuff and funny stuff and cool stuff, not just heavy stuff. But there's a lot that we're covering every day over at relevantmagazine.com. Make sure to check it out. Follow us on the socials for the latest. Thanks, Tyler.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
All right,
man.
stay tuned. Up next, Jason Vanderground from He Gets Us joins us. You don't want to miss it. Listening to Blood Orange. The song is Jesus Freak Lighter. I don't know what that means, but I love it. I love Blood Orange, so there you go.
I'm into it. Yeah.
Jesus Freak Lighter. Give me one. Sounds fun. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tim Tebow's book, Look Again. Have you ever wondered what would change if you truly believed you were infinitely valuable to God? In his New York Times bestselling book, Look Again, Tim Tebow reveals the powerful truth that when we learn to see the image of God in every person, including those we struggle to love, everything changes. Tebow shares incredible stories from his work with people the world often overlooks, and it will challenge you to stand up to the lies, rediscover the worth that everyone has, and impact the world for good. Find Look Again by Tim Tebow. Available now wherever books are sold. All right. Well, over the last few months, you've definitely seen commercials, videos on TV and social media about the He Gets Us campaign. I was watching SNL the other night, and then boom, there's a Jesus commercial in the middle of SNL. You're gonna definitely, with the football season ramping back up, you're going to be seeing it if you watch sports at all. It's a national campaign that's aiming to share a fresh perspective on Jesus to the biggest audience possible. They've reached hundreds of millions of people already. Literally, like something like 500 million views have already happened this year, and they're ramping it up. You're going to see it on the Super Bowl this coming up, and they're doing a lot more in 2023. We thought it'd be good to get to know the people who are behind this thing, like who's funding this, who's doing this. So that's what this conversation is. Jason. He Gets Us as Jason Vanderground joins us to talk about their goal, the controversial questions that inspired their project, and what sort of reaction they're getting. Here is Jason Vanderground from He Gets Us.
I feel like it's, and you correct me on this because I'm just purely projecting here, what I would consider to be, and from honestly from my work at Relevant, what I have found to be sort of a difficulty in this is that most people, at least in America, sort of think they have a good idea of who Jesus is, right? They're familiar with what the guy looks like, and they've heard about the cross and the crucifixion and rose from the dead, and maybe even have some verses down. But it's one thing to sort of be familiar with the trappings, which I think most people are, and another to be familiar with the actual message. So how did you guys, A, was that a tension that you found or something that you found? And B, how have you tried to address that or get through that noise?
Yeah, it's a great point, and it's very true. A lot of times we say that we're more familiar with lots of things, and then you start to double click on that, and you're like, maybe I'm not as familiar as I thought I was. I think that's a human behavior. I do that with my kids all the time. I'm like, oh yeah, I know a lot, and then they start asking me questions, and I realize maybe I didn't know as much as I thought I did about that. So it's this invitation to learn more, and kind of these interesting wrinkles in the story that maybe have been overlooked or not that emphasized. And so, like an interesting story that the Christmas story, people have heard that over and over and over again. And for Christmas, our ad, we focused on the idea that Jesus was born to a teen mom, that Mary was in all likelihood a teenager. Most first-time mothers were teenagers in that day, and she wasn't quite sure at the very beginning, like how she got pregnant. And Joseph was considering his options, and so his own parents, the way that he was born was a lot of youthfulness and uncertainty and vulnerability. And we've just seen people react to that and go, I never realized fully that was part of Jesus' story. That also really relates to my own experience. He must be able to understand what that's like, and that's what He Gets Us is all about. He understands us, and despite the good, bad, the ugly of life, He loves us anyways.
Most people who listen to Relevant Pod, Read Relevant, are going to be fairly well convinced of this message. They understand that He gets us. They believe that. What is something that those people like us, could do to sort of help get involved here? People who are like, I want to be part of making sure that this gets around. I believe in this and I want to help spread it. Is there a way that they can do that?
I think one is, you can start with the website, hegetsus.com, and, everything is out there, the stories, the ads, all the different ways that people can get connected. If you want to go deeper than that, you can even go to hegetsuspartners.com. And there's a lot more resources. So a lot of resources that we've created with Relevant and with other partners. And I think the biggest thing is just to know about the campaign, to know these ads, because people are going to see Wrongly Judged or Hair Down or, Teen Mom or Dinner Party and go, I saw this ad about Jesus. It got my attention. What is that all about? Or that made me feel uncomfortable. And to be ready to have that conversation with a friend or family member that brings it up.
That was our conversation with He Gets Us. Make sure to check out their website, hegetsus.com. Find out more, or hegetsuspartners.com. Okay, stay tuned. Up next, Regina Hall and Sterling K. Brown join us. You're listening to Santa Gold. The song is Fall First. That's never a good idea. Don't fall first, because then everybody will fall on top of you.
Yeah, I would recommend falling last.
Yeah,
right on,
definitely
be on the top.
Definitely fall last.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely fall last.
Just good sense there.
All right. Well, our guests today are Sterling K. Brown and Regina Hall. You know Sterling from This Is Us. You know Regina from movies like Best Man Holiday and Girls Trip. They're starring in a brand new movie called Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul, which is out now in theaters and on Peacock. They sat down with our downtown Emily Brown to discuss how they hope this movie encourages the church to be its best and why it's important we extend grace and understanding to all people. Here's our conversation with Sterling K. Brown and Regina Hall.
I'm a sinner, but I'm no criminal.
We need you back in that pulpit.
All those folks out there who are going to see this, I want them to know that I did what I was supposed to do.
What was your familiarity with church culture and maybe even church scandal before you started this film?
Yeah, very familiar. Family in the church, have experienced different churches. I think I've been to, I used to go to Times Square Church in New York. Do you remember that?
I do.
Times Square Church.
It's not denominational,
yeah, but it's a big, big church. It was David Wilkerson. But I was in a small church, small Baptist. So just, I don't know. I think being black, somebody gonna make you go to church.
Been to church all my life. You hear about the scandals of different mega preachers, et cetera. Like it's hard to miss. So there's a few different things that sort of informed Lee Curtis Childs, what have you, and just personal experience, like Regina said.
Lee Curtis is a talent, a star.
Oh boy.
We can edit around that. right? This is going to chronicle the ultimate comeback.
What specifically drew you each to this film?
What drew me? Well, the script was great. They had done the short first, and I watched the short, and then I read the script, and I was like, this is all wonderful. Yep. Regina Hall, it was in it from the beginning. I was like, I like her a lot. I would want to work with her. So that was a big draw as well. Then just what they had to say, like coming from a place of love with an institution that has such prominence in Black culture, in the Black community, but still something that is worth critiquing and has the space to evolve. And hopefully the folks who see it, who are a part of that community, will recognize the love with which the movie was done and see the space for evolution as well.
Yeah, I like the world. I liked the world of the church. I hadn't really seen a story like it, and probably because it was a bit of a swing. I was like, this is either gonna work or be really bad. There wasn't gonna be anything in between, but there was something interesting about going for it. And the directors, having a conversation with the director and producer, with Adama and Adane, their clarity, their purpose for writing the script, and they were really smart. Yeah. And so that made the producers, the team behind it also made a big difference.
For sure.
I just want to clarify some things before we get started. Every woman is not built for the great responsibility of being a first lady.
Pastor Lee Curtis Childs faces allegations of misconduct. His megachurch may never be the same.
Lee Curtis and we're going to get to the other side.
You there? Yeah, with the big old microphone. Come in closer, son. You gonna see what all the fuss is about. Showtime.
What's up? Fresh is our
I
turn.
would really love to dive into each of your characters a little bit. They both have this outward self that they like to present, but deep down, as the film goes on, they're much different people than how they present. So, what do you think of your characters? Who do you think they really are at their core?
I believe Lee Curtis Childs is a child of God. And I think he really loves being in front of people. I mean, he is a showman, for sure, but I think he loves the idea of being able to save souls and do the Lord's work. I think also at his core, he is someone who is queer and does not allow himself comfort in that thought. The idea of being queer or whatnot, and something that he actively fights against, tries to squelch, contain, pray away the gay, whatever you want to say about it. And so the torment isn't so much from other people, like how might other people see me or whatever. It's kind of how he sees himself, right? And so I think he starts off with wonderful intentions to give to different aspects of his congregants or whatnot, and young men in particular, he really does want to mentor. But I think that like a moth to the flame, the closer he gets, the easier it is for him to get burnt, and his intentions become misguided.
And I think Trinity loves being a first lady. She's a woman who's been raised in the church, and I believe that she believes that Lee Curtis is anointed. She very much believes he's anointed. She's seen the difference he's made in people's lives. I don't know that she believes that he's gay. I think that she believes that is how the devil is tempting him. And that the devil attacks him in the root of his sexuality. I think she knows he's really flawed. And I think she knows that she settles a lot. But I think she believes in him a little bit more than herself. Until the end. I think there's we start to see that she does have that change. But I think the whole time, she's a bit in awe of his preaching, his word, his connection to God. I think there is nothing more exciting than when she sits on that stage or in that audience and watches him preach and watches that effect on a group of people. I don't think she has that, but he has that. But what she can do is she can harness all of that, and then she's a part of that connection to God.
Yeah.
He is just so wrong. He needs someone to harness it all.
Oh, bless your heart. I'm sure plenty of the old congregation will come right on back through good old Wanda the Greater Pat's door. You have a blessed one.
Oh, my goodness.
Whether they're Christian, not Christian, what do you hope they take from this film?
I think just the questioning of institutions, you know what I'm saying? Things that we take for granted or as the status quo will be that indefinitely. Like there's room for things to grow, to evolve, to change. And I think especially if you love something, you want it to become the best version of itself. So hopefully folks bring that sort of critical thinking to every institution that they encounter.
Yeah, I think it'll be different for different people, you know? So I really want people to just, well, one, enjoy it and then spread the word, but two, but honestly, to take away from where they are in their life. The backdrop is the church, but it's a very human story. Yeah. You know, you really are looking, you know, it's not a critique of the church, but it's two individuals and what they've been indoctrinated to believe, and then and that from the institution itself. But then you watch, they're both suffering, right? And that's, I think, why you can have compassion for both of them. Yeah. Even despite the stay humble sign in the Ferrari.
I really just want to say fantastic job on the film. You both did such a wonderful job. This could be a really difficult subject, but I think you brought really great sincerity and humor to it. So thank you. I can't wait for audiences to see it.
Thank you, Emily.
That was Sterling K. Brown and Regina Hall. Make sure to check out Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. I watched it this weekend. It's actually really good. It's out now. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's your feedback. Listening to Totally Enormous Extinct Dinosaurs. The song is Be With You.
Bro, what kind of name is that?
That is a long name.
Totally Enormous Extinct Dinosaurs.
Are they like a punk rock band? Hey, look, man, I'm gonna be real. White people, white bands have the best names. Like,
totally
for real, it's like they just pick something. They just like, yo, what do we see here? Man, it's a big, totally enormous dinosaur in the corner. That's what we're going to name the band.
It does feel like there was like a working session. You know what I mean? And it was like before they finished, they're like, time's up. Oh, okay. Well, you know, we're thinking totally enormous. Yeah.
Extinct.
Probably extinct.
I've always admired like white bands' names. Like the only person I can think that has like a crazy name is like Childish Gambino. True. My man, you know, he picked his name off of the Wu-Tang name generator. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. White people just be like, man, what's in the room? Kleenex underwear. You know, they just like, that's the name of the band. Kleenex underwear.
Done. Yeah. Why are you looking around your room and seeing Kleenex and underwear on the floor?
There you go.
Delete.
Oh boy.
Have you ever done? You mentioned the Wu-Tang generator. Have you done it? Like, what's your Wu-Tang name?
I have.
What is it? Do you know?
I forgot, to obviously be honest. It's like Illmaster something. Like Illmaster grams or hands or something like that.
Oh, I'm doing mine right now. Here we go. Let's see.
But it's different every time you do it too.
I'm Chili Predictor. Chili Predictor.
Yeah, but every time you do it, it's a little different.
Have you ever done your stripper name? It's the name of your first pet and the name of the street you grew up on. I'm Caesar Dolomite.
Oh, okay.
Caesar Dolomite.
I think
I'm Lucky Vine.
mine would be Hank Booker.
I like it.
Olivia Spruce Forest. That sounds like a Christian author who writes like Amish fiction. Olivia Spruce Forest, and it's like evenings on the prairie.
I love it.
Oh man! Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times best-selling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold. Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth: creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tame. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tame. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness, choose the Barbarian Way. Available now wherever books are sold. Well, okay, it's time for your feedback. Last week we did a backwards question of the week. We asked you to ask us something. So you guys hit us up at Relevant Podcast on Twitter, and here are some of the questions. We'll lob them to the crew here. All right, Ben Stroop has a question for all y'all. Here we go. So The first one is, if Jesse got to reboot one sitcom where he stars in a role, which one would it be?
Oh,
I think you got to do Perfect Strangers and Your Cousin Larry.
Cousin, not Balky.
Not Balky. No.
I feel like
society has progressed beyond you playing Balky.
I feel like it would be pretty problematic. I mean, I could be the old curmudgeon, but I think the obvious answer is I would be Uncle Jesse in a true Full House reboot. Living in the basement. Old washed up rocker.
Yep.
I think he dabbles in morning radio. I
like it.
Obviously fantastic hair. It just checks a lot of boxes personally.
I could see it.
All right. If Derek were to produce a country album, what would the title of it be?
Well, it's funny that you asked.
Are you working on one?
I actually did produce a country album.
Oh, wow.
And it's called Country Trap by Country Boy Carl. KBK. So yeah, you can look it up. It's only on Spotify, but yeah,
I like it.
I already got one, Ben.
There you go. Jamie, what's a movie Jamie has seen all the way through more than once?
Oh, okay. I see.
It's not many.
It is. I do have a theme here. I actually saw Elvis, the new one, twice in the movie theaters in the same weekend. So there's that.
Was it because you liked the film, or you just happened to,
No, I liked it. I
watched 10 minutes of Elvis and said, this is not for me.
You didn't like it?
It was too frantic. It was too trying.
Yeah,
it was trying to cover too much territory too fast. It was just like, there was no I didn't like the pace. I wasn't enjoying it. It was just like, it felt like we were skipping across the surface. I didn't like it.
That's Baz Luhrmann's style.
Yeah, I know.
I know. Yeah, it's basically, he likes to make feature-length music videos. Is kind of his.
Yeah, like the camera was flying around. It was just like, come on. Like, I mean,
he did like Romeo and Juliet back in the day, like the new Great Gatsby.
Moulin Rouge.
It's essentially just like a sensory,
overload.
Yeah, exactly.
I turned it off.
But I will tell you,
I turned it off and put on La La Land, which I loved.
Okay.
I love La La Land.
I did not enjoy La La. But anyhow, when I was a kid, I used to watch the movie Grease nonstop and could say, like, I could quote the whole thing and say all the things. And then when I got an adult, I watched it again. And I was like, dear Lord, what was I talking about as like a third grader with the movie Grease? So
what's a movie that you guys go back to? Like you watch it every year or so. It's just one of those things that, like, I feel like I'm in the mood for this movie I love. Like,
I don't do that a lot with movies, obviously. Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of movies, but every year I'll be in the mood for like There Will Be Blood or Phantom Thread or some like epic prestige drama that's slow, Paul Thomas Anderson.
For me, it's like I wouldn't do like a PTA or something heavy, but like be like, man, I wonder if Ace Ventura 2 holds up. Oh yeah, it holds up. I need a yearly reminder of how funny that rhino scene is when he pops out at the back of the rhino.
Derek, what's yours?
It's Friday. It's Friday. Friday. I could literally quote every line. I could recite the movie as a monologue right now.
I love it.
My neck, my back.
My neck and my back.
My neck and my back.
That's what I'm saying. There's something about like those 90s comedies where they just weren't overthinking stuff. It was, you could tell it was a lot of one takes back then, and they're like, we got it. No, we're good. I think we got it. Yeah.
Well, the budgets were just different, like they could do movies like that. They just don't make movies like that anymore. You know what? I was reading, who was it? Somebody, Matt Damon was talking about this. Like back in the 90s, like think about like, Good Poets Society, or I'm sorry, what's his movie?
Dead Poets Society?
No, I'm sorry. No, his movie.
Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, Good Will Hunting. So think about like Good Will Hunting and stuff like that, like kind of indie movies or whatever. Like he said, studios would take a chance on those more because they had more revenue streams back then. So you had the initial theater run, but even if it didn't make all its money back on a theater run, they always had DVD sales and rentals afterwards. And he said now in the era of streaming, they lose what was the majority of the revenue for movies now. And so they have to do it at box office, and they just have way less margin to take a risk on more artistic films or more like up and coming films. And so like they are doing Marvel movies and only like big ticket stuff that's like gonna make a ton of money. And like those smaller movies just don't have a lane anymore. And that's really sad to me because like, think about like Friday. I mean, that wouldn't get made today. No,
not at all. It's too much. It's too much for too little money. But it's such a classic. It's a lot of movies that. What was it? Was it the 5 Heartbeats that it did awful, and then but the DVD release it became a
cult classic,
iconic movie in the Black community, and now it's legendary. So yeah, I could see that.
I feel like some streamers, though, have leaned into that. Like Amazon has done some mid-budget comedies that are okay. Like I feel like it'll come back around. It's all about kind of market demand. Like it's harder for them to make money, but also the profit, like the business model has changed. You know what I mean? Like for streamers. So yeah, hopefully those type of movies come back because there is something about like it's about 90 minutes. You know what you're getting. You can be in and out in an evening, and you don't have to think too hard. Like that's the kind of movie that just I feel like, the quality ones aren't really around anymore, or aren't incentivized to be made. They'll just make it like a overly long series or something.
I feel like it's the same way with music too. Like you hear people say, "Man, all the music sounds alike," but it's like it's because it's working. And streaming just kind of just made it where it's just really microwave. Like you can't really just sit down and just be like, okay. And then also these artists are under pressure to put so much content out that it's like, man, I don't have time to just focus on making the best album in the world. I got to stay in front of people's faces or they're going to move on to the next guy. So yeah, I feel like it's kind of the same vibe.
Steven Nielsen sent a lot of questions. A lot of y'all sent really heavy questions. That's not what we're trying to do here. So I'm going to pick a couple. So one he says is...
The answer, yes. I pray to the Queen every morning.
Steven Nielsen asks, when are you going to start making funny TikToks and Insta Reels?
Why? Did something happen to the Queen?
Shut up, stupid. When are you going to start making funny TikToks and Insta Reels? And here's the actual answer. We just hired a guy literally yesterday who's joining our staff, and there will be clips of this show every week on Instagram, on TikTok.
I got to get my lipstick
starting
on
a couple weeks from now. So a video pipeline of content is about to start coming out. So there's that. He also asks non-serious answers only. He's like, why don't you guys do like an advice segment? For example, what's your best parenting advice?
Oh yeah, I got you on that.
Right?
But non-serious
answers only. I think we should do it. I think we should put that in the mix moving forward. I like this suggestion.
I got one. I'm going to bring it back whenever you bring it.
I would do that for sure.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
We'll bring that in. I like it.
I feel like my thing is, I feel like my serious advice would be accepted in a non-serious way. So let's just call it non-serious.
You're good to go.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap it up, I want to thank Sterling K. Brown and Regina Hall for joining us today. Make sure to check out Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. It's in theaters now and also streaming on Peacock. Okay, on that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Jamie Ivey.
I'm Derek Minor.
We'll see you next time. Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
I'm not going to lie. It's lasted about 975 more episodes than I thought it would after we recorded our first one.
Relevant Podcast Network. Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business and sell more with less effort thanks to the Shopify magic, your AI-powered all-star. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/redcircle, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/redcircle now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/redcircle.